Bitcoin is stalling below the 70K, currently at 68,242. Meanwhile, Ethereum is at $2,700. Bitcoin has seen huge inflows both in crypto and in ETFs, but even that doesn't seem to be enough to close above the 70K in the daily charts. The Fear and Greed Index is at 63 right now, and we have a bunch of Bitcoin news that are bullish for the future of Bitcoin, not only in Q4, but also in 2025. So let's cover all of these in today's video. Welcome everyone, welcome back to the topics. As per usual, today we're going to be opening the weeklies for Monday all the way to Friday. We're going to show how the weekend strategy went. Spoiler, that one went very, very well. So we've been 2 weeks now back to back making money throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekend from Friday all the way to Sunday morning. So that being said, let's jump onto BTC first, open these positions, show the other ones for the weekend, and then we're going to go through some news and some articles to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum as a whole. So jumping straight to BTC, to the copy trading, we are killing it with the copy trading. You see right now we are at 52.94% overall so far in the 0DT strategy. In the Phoenix, we're reaching the 35%. So both these strategies have become very, very successful. The 0DT has almost 53% and the Phoenix has almost 35%. And this is, the Phoenix has a little bit more months under its belt that it has been going steady. The 0DT has launched in the end of May, if I recall correctly, but the Phoenix has been alive for a little bit more time, but it is a vault way more safe than the 0DT one. You can see we haven't lost in a single trade right here. Meanwhile, on the 0DT, we had some down days right here from 52.13 to 52 flat, then to 52.51 to 52.26. So even when it goes down, it doesn't go down by a lot, but still we're seeing very good months. July has been the best one with 14.5 and October so far with 6.5. But let's go to the options that would matter to us. And here we go to the trading history and we scroll all the way to the right. And you can see that this weekend we've made 847 for the strategy that we opened on Friday the 18th and it closed on Sunday 20th. So we made around $4 per day on this one, which is very, very good, around 0.67%. So great, because IV drops a lot during the weekend. Still making that percentage yield in a little bit more than 2 days is always very, very good. So today we're going to be opening a position together. We're going to be analyzing Bitcoin right here and seeing where could it be or where it won't be. So this way we can sell options a little bit safer. We can sell calls, puts, whatever we feel like it's going to be the best one for our strategy so far. Before we open a position, we have to look a little bit both at the charts, but also at the data. The data is always important. And I showed you this, the liquidation data is very important. We can see so far we're almost head to head, almost even with the long to short ratio of liquidations throughout the past 24 hours. You can see Bitcoin wasn't even the biggest liquidation. Actually, Ape was with 1.26 million in total positions liquidated. Longs were liquidated more than shorts. We can see right here, Bitcoin had only $140,000 liquidated here. But you can see that very even between longs and shorts, still very, very high number, almost $200 million liquidated here. So we use this and we use also the heat map for liquidation to understand what will happen with the price itself, where the price of Bitcoin will go. And we can see that the yellow part, the hotter part right here, is at the bottom of the current price of Bitcoin. The yellow is at around $68,000. And usually when it does that, when it hits these yellow lines, it liquidates a little bit. So it's going to go down a little bit more, because once it liquidates long positions, they have to close this position, which means selling this Bitcoin to flip it over to close their position, which means it will create a little bit of a selling pressure on Bitcoin. So we should see Bitcoin going down a little bit more. With that being said, we can hope that the liquidation will not be strong enough and sell a put so we can get more premium, or we can go safe and sell a call, because we can see here that Bitcoin will try to liquidate people at around that $68,000 frame mark that we just talked about. So we actually see something very similar here with the Bollinger. It is going down and the Bollinger is funneling, which is always a sign that eventually the price itself of Bitcoin will spike towards one side. So we don't know if it will spike down right here, so it's going to break the bottleneck and go down straight, or if it's going to break the bottleneck and retest and going up. But the volumes are not like they were a few days ago, in which there was a lot of volume involved. Volume is actually slowing down, so I'm just going to run some numbers right here to see which one is better. We're going to see a few calls, we're going to see a few puts, and then I'll let you know which one I pick. So just wait a few seconds. For you, it's just going to be a quick time lapse, and let me do this real quick. So after doing some math here between calls and puts, which one is paying the most, but we're going to select call at 70,500. This is a strike all the way through Friday. So unless Bitcoin goes above the strike by Friday, then we are going to be collecting $43.28, which is probably the maximum we've collected here so far. So I'm going to sell and do yes, and yes, we process the option. So now with Ethereum, we don't have enough capital to open the same size, but we're going to be looking at some yield as well. Still, we're going to do the same thing. It's going to skip a little bit for you, and I'm going to do some math here to see which one we go for. For Ethereum, the readings seem a little different than Bitcoin, which makes me wonder if I did a good job on the Bitcoin one, but we're going to sell a put for Ethereum. What I'm going to do is going to sell a put on Ethereum, and throughout the week, keep an eye on the Bitcoin position, because if Ethereum keeps going up and then Bitcoin also seems like it's going to go up, if I can close that in profit, then I close the Bitcoin one in profit and I roll out a put instead of a call. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a little loss there and roll out as selling a put instead of a call if needed. So I'm going to keep the call sold on Bitcoin. I'm going to sell the put here on Ethereum, and keep an eye on both positions, because usually Bitcoin and Ethereum, they follow each other. They tend to have the same direction. So I'm going to do this. It's going to be $23 that I'm going to collect. So there we go. So I have a 2,600 put for Ethereum, and I have a 70,500 call for Bitcoin. I collected 23 on one and 43 on the other. So that gives us a very good premium on the weeklies, and the P&L is because of the spread. When you open, there's a little spread difference here. So I'm going to keep you updated throughout the week. If there's any changes, I'll let you know by Wednesday when the Wednesday video comes out. Now, talking about Bitcoin, we have this news right here that shows that even with a total of 20 billion inflows in the Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin is still not touching having that hard ceiling at 70K. We can see right here the ETF from BlackRock, the holdings that they have compared to Bitcoin price, and the holdings have been going up by a lot, over 350, almost 400,000 Bitcoin, but the price of Bitcoin has yet to touch the all-time highs. Again, we've seen an all-time highs for the last 3 months, but we're still waiting for the 70K confirmation that everyone is wanting to see. Again, Rect Capital says that even though we are yet to see the 70K, this is bullish because we are closing above the black line right here, which means that we're going to have green momentum. We're going to have positive momentum going back to the all-time highs, which was around $74,000. And also on positive news for Bitcoin, the SEC approves CBOE options listing for these ETFs. If you don't know, Bitopics is an options trading exchange, but a crypto exchange. So we don't deal with ETFs. Someone even commented down below if this was an ETF that we are trading on. No, these are derivatives on Bitcoin itself, on Ethereum itself, because we are a crypto exchange, not a TradFi exchange. But the SEC is approving, so we're going to have options. We're going to have open interest on these ETF listings, which is always good, because when you get derivatives added to the underlying asset, there's way more volume that inflicts way more movement into the price itself of the asset. Because if someone makes a huge contract that in a month or so will move millions of dollars in volume, then that affects the implied volatility and the price itself of the underlying asset. So I'm glad to see that the SEC approved these options, and that should bring in positive news for Bitcoin. And last but not least, for Bitcoin news, the hash rate hits an all-time high for Bitcoin, which makes it even more secure. So here, this chart that seems a little sketchy, it's hard to understand what is. This is actually the hash rate for Bitcoin. And you can see that since 2022, it has been going up, and the trend line is usually only up. with a few dips right here, like July 2022, January 2023, but overall very, very positive. And you can see that we touched all-time high with the hash rate, which is bullish news for our orange coin, as we like it. The total computing power of Bitcoin has gone up, which is amazing, fantastic, and what we always going to see in this network. And here we have a miner to exchange flow, meaning that the Bitcoin that the miners mine, is it going to exchanges, meaning is it being sold for fiat currency, for profits? And here we don't have that. We don't have an inflow. We're still down on inflows to exchanges, meaning that miners aren't selling yet the profit that they're making, the Bitcoin that they're mining on the Bitcoin network. You can see that it was high on October 14th, on October 1st, they have these spikes, but overall the price of Bitcoin maintains itself and these miners are not taking profits. Usually they take regular profits, so we should see some profits maybe in a few days by the end of the month, but overall, zooming out, we have good news. Miners are not inclined to sell their Bitcoin. They just sell what they need to cover the costs of running the machines. So that being said, I'm very, very bullish on both of these coins, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin way more than Ethereum right now, because Ethereum usually tends to perform better on Q1 of every year, and Bitcoin tends to perform better at Q4 of every year. So we are in Q4 right now. So everyone is waiting for Bitcoin to go above the 70K, maybe touch the 89, the $90,000, which is what we talked about before here in the channel. So what do you think? Do you think this is a right reading, a wrong reading? Do you think even knowing that I'm bullish, was it stupid by me to sell a call? So comment down below. I would like to hear what you have to say about it. So thank you very much. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for another update, and I'll see you then. Peace.